Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be recapping my round 4 game that I played in the Southern California Open. Now going into this game I was at 2 out of 3 and in the 4th round I am playing a 2167 rated player. Now the round previous, if you don't know, I could have won the game but it ended up in a draw. So this time I'm actually maybe trying to win, maybe get the draw. I'm trying to just get experience like I said before. So I started off e4 c5 and I played the this line, and I played the it's called the Sveshnikov. He played the Sveshnikov. He could have played something called the Pelican, where you go bishop to g5. I did have this in one of the Barber recaps, round 4, funny enough, and where you go b5, and you could either go knight d5 or bishop f6, and yeah, the position goes on. But he played knight d5 immediately, which is called the Sveshnikov, and it's kind of like the King's Indian in a way, where white goes for like this queenside attack, while black tries to go for like the kingside attack, and that's what ends up happening. After this, I kick the knight out and I play bishop b7. I get my king castles, and immediately I play f5, just getting ready. Now after f5, I forgot that he had this move f4. Now f4 is also like a King's Indian idea to like stop black from playing f4. And now I start to think, and I'm thinking, should I push my pawn or should I bring my knight out? Now, in the game I play e4, which is a mistake. In my opinion, is a mistake. The computer said it's like plus 0.3 or something like that, but the computer's the computer. Now, I probably should have done something like knight to d7, and if f takes e5, I could take with the pawn or the knight. I'll probably take with the knight, and then push g5, f4. That may be a good idea. But what I should have done is I should have just kept the tension and maybe gone for like a g5, and I could have had good chances with this. But after e4, the problem is he plays this, bishop e3, and automatically I feel like I'm in a bit of trouble. Although I'm probably not. I feel like I'm in a bit of trouble because now my attack is like stopped. I don't really have a clear plan. Like g5, like he can just mind his own business, go like rook c1, b4, and this doesn't really do anything because he can take with the bishop, and I don't really have much going on. Now after bishop to e3, I play bishop f6, and after rook c1, I then bring my knight out. Now I'm trying to get my bishop as active as possible, and I want to go b6 to stop this c5, b6 a5 to stop b4. Now he does go b4 eventually, and already I think I'm probably worse here because he's getting c5. No, like after b6 knight a4, which is actually what I wanted. This position is terrible. This position is terrible. Like he's just getting c5, and positionally, strategically, I'm probably almost losing. I'll be honest. Yeah. After b4, I do find another plan. I go a5. And after, like, I knew to go a3 to keep the pawn structure intact. If something like b5 here, then suddenly, like, the c5 square is completely locked up. And if he takes, then, like, yeah, like, the c5 square still can be occupied by my knight. I'll have more, like, this pawn's kind of weak. I'll have some options here. Now, so he does this, and my plan is to go rook a3. Now, I know he can't bring the rook over here because this knight's loose. And with rook a3, this bishop's also loose, so you can't really move the knight. Now, queen d2 is to defend both, but after queen d2, I do end up playing bishop c3 in the game, which is not what I wanted. What I wanted to go is to go b6 here. Now, everything's like almost the same, but I have like an active rook. Maybe I'll bring my pieces enough quickly, and it's a game. But after b6, I realized that he has this move knight d5, and after this, I am losing because he's attacking the rook, he's attacking the pawn, he gets c5. It's, yeah, losing. So after queen d2, I end up taking the knight, removing the knight from the board. I do all this, then go b6. Now the position is not, I have this long struggle ahead of me. I'm gonna have to defend this bad position. Now here what I thought he should have done is go rook a1, play things a bit slower, get his rook active, then do what he did in the game, because in the game he played bishop to d1, which is actually like a good move. I thought it was a good move because the bishop wasn't really doing anything on this e2 square. And going to d1, so he can go b3 or a4, that's a good idea. So after queen c7 to stop c5, I go bishop 8. He goes bishop a4, and I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to get my bishop. If I move the bishop, he takes on d7 and takes on b6. Now, if I don't do that, then I have to leave the bishop here. And if I do something like knight to f6, I thought he had bishop c6. He goes b5, and this pawn is really weak. And now he gets rook a1, and I'll probably have to resign in a few moves. I'll be honest. So I had to give up the pawn. I had to give up the pawn to get some activity, but I do have some amount of drawing chances here. Now, why do I have some drawing chances? It's because I have what is called opposite colored bishops. Now, you probably heard like all rook endgames is a draw, all opposite colored bishops is a draw. Not necessarily. It's mostly a draw when you have only bishops, but if you're trying to win, you have to keep some amount of pieces on the board and get a passed pawn. Now, he does have some amount of pieces on the board and he gained a passed pawn. But maybe if I trade everything off, I could hold a draw because I have these light squares. And the thing with opposite colored bishops and why it's usually considered a draw is because these bishops can't really contest each other. Like, even if white has two connect, let's just imagine this pawn was like over here, and there's no other pieces on the board, only bishops and kings, and these two pawns. It's probably still a draw, because if I place my bishop over here, I know it's hard to imagine, I'm actually controlling these two white squares, and the bishop can't do anything about it, and if I bring my king over, let's say over here to contest this square also, then it's a draw. Now, I go rook a8, I do this so I actually get some counterplay. I get my rook over here. He either has to trade rooks or let my rook get active. Now after rook a1, I don't just trade off the rooks like that, because after this, like, it's a bit like I'm still like worse here. I have this weak pawn. The queen is very active. The queen has a lot of scope. After something like this, maybe here, I don't know. It's a little bit tricky. After rook a1, I go queen to c8. I do attack this pawn. I'm threatening to take it. Let's just make a random move. If he does this, I can actually take this pawn. And if takes, queen takes c3. And if trade, like, I have to take, I can actually take with my bishop. And I have equal material. I think if anyone could still win, it's probably white, because white has more active pieces. And has this, like, b pawn. But I also have an e pawn that can maybe push later on. So he does do this, and here he makes a bit of an inaccurate move. He plays bishop to c7, which actually allows me to get back into the game. Now, the computer actually suggests you can actually go queen a7 after king f1. Now go queen a2. And the point is, maybe after some bishop a6 stuff, you can check the king. Like, one of my only plans to draw the game is to just check the king a bunch, but I didn't see this. Like, I thought this was not very good. Now, after bishop c7, if I go queen a6 to defend the pawn, he has maybe a b5, and if queen a7, b6. And the point is, this pawn is under attack. He can bring his queen, maybe shield his, like, what I'm saying is he can shield his king from checks, and now he can go and attack my pawn. So, after bishop c7, if I go queen to f8, after, like, something like queen d4 or b5, I am most likely going to lose the game. He's going to come attack my pawn. And with 3 connected, this is like a loss. Because with 3 connected, like, you have a certain limit to when opposite colored bishops is a draw. And this is, yeah, for sure you reach the limit because it's 3 connected. All white needs to do is bring the king in and push c5, c6, and it's winning. But after bishop c7, what he missed is I had this move queen to c8, and I am back in this game. Remember? Back over here when I had bishop d5, it's the same thing, and it's why I'm back in the game, because the bishop's under attack. The bishop can't really move anywhere without allowing this, so the bishop is forced to take my pawn. And after bishop takes d5, here in this position he had bishop c5 blocking this pawn, also stopping, like, my bishop's under attack. But after maybe something like bishop b7 or bishop to e6, I am a bit back in this game, but like, white still has, like, a good advantage. The point is, after c5, now, remember when I talked about with the whole, like, light square thing? I can control the light squares. Now, I can't just automatically go queen c6, because there's some threats. Like, he has queen e5, he's winning this pawn, and Or I either have to allow this and allow some crazy amount of dark square weaknesses here. And maybe something like b5 actually, because the bishops lose. Now after c5, I did have another idea, which is go queen e6, and to push my pawn. Now here, if I thought queen e5 was most likely a draw, because I could go here, go g6, king f2, and basically this is a draw because I could allow this to happen. And what I could do is, okay, wait, actually, wait, this is not a draw. But, okay, I don't have to give up the pawn. I could just march my king in, and I will control these light squares eventually. Something like this. I will have some amount of control, and yeah, it is a draw. I could go e3, I could go e3, then I could actually, like, I could take the pawn, and now this is a draw. Now this is a draw. Or wait, is it? Hold up, give me 1 second. Yeah, this is, I could just like move here or something like that. Like something like this. Or I could just push a pawn. He can't really move his pawns down the board. Right? Yeah. You're just making sure because the computer says some weird stuff sometimes. Like even if he pushes b5, the thing is I have this move bishop to f1. And if he pushes the pawn down, now I can go here and I have the same control to light squares except it's just more further down the board, but that doesn't really matter. Like, this is a draw. Now, after the queen e6, he goes b5 to push the pawns down. This is the best move. And after e3, I thought maybe he could go queen e5 here, but it's still a draw because I have the same idea of bishop c4 and bishop d5, and bring the king in, take the pawn. I will have to go g6, but it's the same thing. I bring the king in, put my bishop here. It's still a draw. Now, after queen e5, I was considering maybe he takes the pawn. He has 3 passed pawns, but I actually have some play myself. I can just go king f7, put my pawn on g5, maybe, like, I'm thinking I could go put my king on e6, and actually, no, if he's not careful, maybe he allows me to get bishop c4 check, like, something like this, and get g5, although not now, because he has b7, but I'm saying something like if he just allows me to get my pawns here now, it's very dangerous, very dangerous. Like, I actually can't even go b7 here because I have f3 and f2. Check. After e3, he goes bishop to e5 to cut off the connection with my queen, the pawn. But I do have another idea, which is queen to g6. After queen g6, I'm attacking the pawn, threatening checkmate. And after queen g2, no joke, I actually got really excited because I thought I was winning the game. Because I thought I had this move, bishop takes g2. And the point of queen takes g2, I have e2. And if he goes somewhere here, I can take, and if he takes e1 queen. And after this, if he takes, I still have e1 queen, it's a check, and if he moves the king, I can take. But the reason why it's not winning is because he can just block the promotion square. But I do have another chance, which is queen g4. Now, actually, what I thought he could have done here was to go g3. And now, if queen g4, he can take the pawn. And the point is, if you calculate this out, check. I thought maybe as this. Or maybe I don't even have, but it's still a draw, even in this position, because I'm holding everything. My king is not the safest, but so is his king. I can do a lot of checks and a lot of those threats. And yeah, it should be a draw. Now, he goes queen c2, and after queen g4, he actually only has one move to draw the game, and that's h3. If he does, okay, so here's why h3 is the only move. If he does anything like stupid here, I have e2, and I'm just threatening checkmate, and he cannot even stop it. And I'm also threatening this. He cannot stop both threats. Now, after this, if he, goes king f1 to stop e2, I actually have this move bishop takes g2. Kind of the same idea, but the point is after this, I can go queen d1 checkmate. And if he goes here, I can just check here. If he goes here, something like here, I can go queen g1 check. I have a lot of threats. This pawn it's super dangerous. He can't really push his pawns without allowing something. Like, this is just a win, for example. And yeah, so he goes h3, attacks the queen. And I have a move to draw the game. If I do end on queen g3, thinking I'm, like, super slick, he has, like, something like this, and he can actually get back in the game. He actually has, like, an advantage again. I don't have any threats, although it does look like it, I don't have any threats. So, yeah. Now, after h3, the move I had in the game was e2. Now, he can't really, if he tries to block the promotion square, again, same thing, queen takes g2 checkmate. And after e2, he's forced to take my queen, and the points I can promote, and after king h2, not just that, I have this move queen h4 check, and I'm repeating, it's perpetual check. He cannot stop me whatsoever. So after e2, he offers a draw, and I end up accepting it. Now, this game was not really the best game. I was defending for the most part. I have to improve on this line a bit more. Like, this position's actually, like, maybe if I go 97, I might have had good winning chances here with this pawn g5, pawn f4 structure. It's kind of a double-edged position. Both players can win. But actually, my defensive skills were not, like, the worst, actually. I did find this, like, good e3 idea. Or, even better, I did find queen c8 here, which is got me back in the game, and he couldn't, like, stop all of my threats at this point, so he had to take the draw. Now I'm currently at 2.5 out of 4. There's 2 more rounds left. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, you can hit that like and subscribe button. Maybe tell your friends to subscribe. And thank you all for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed the video. Goodbye, everyone.